I started seeing some glitches in my family line, and just things that I needed to not continue on with. And it was like it was like I was frustrated with my even folks and my grandparents and others. And I remember I was going to see one of my grandparents for a little while, and I was frustrated. And the Lord's like, Keith, they've done everything I've asked them to do. Now you go and do what I've asked you to do. Because there was a frustration with maybe a little belief that felt a little bit judgmental, or felt a little bit harsh, or a little something, but it was what God had given them for their generation. They'd carried it out, and he was pleased with them. And then it was like, okay, now you need to go and increase what I've given you to increase, and keep joy, and step into the new thing. Honor what you have. And I was so loyal that I didn't know how to how do you step into something new or expand a viewpoint? Like my grandpa handed me prayer, but didn't really have a context for worship. They sang and they worshiped, but they were like, prayer's the main thing. And then worship became a huge thing for me. And I'm like, how do I kind of deal with this discrepancy? And there was some tension in certain things. And there was tension not just with my grandpa, but the numbers of preachers that would come through our church and others. Like at the shift, the worship began to open up and really begin to be something. And then it was like, okay, they were fearing prayer was being discounted. And I'm in this beautiful season where I'm like rereading some classics. Rees Howell, Intercessor, is one of the fathers of intercession, classic book. I love this. I'm rereading it, and my grandpa was an intercessor of Llewellyn. I'm like, I'm not losing this amazing, beautiful history that my grandparents gave me. I'm gonna catch this. I'm gonna walk in it, and then I'm gonna pass it down to the next generation. And I'm an intercessor. It looks different. It has more worship in it, but we're still connecting with God. There's maybe some different tools on how I intercede, but I have some of their tools and some expanded tools. And that's the beauty of walking in the things of the kingdom, and walking in legacy, and walking in generational legacy, is that we we are supposed to expand. And it can be awkward in those transitions, and there can be some tension, and we can feel like we want to throw off our fathers and grandfathers and disagree with them all. But it's like, we got to get a little farther down the road and realize, we wouldn't be here without them. They fought. God's pleased with them. Now it's our time to fight. And you know what I love, even in my journey, even with my own son and daughter, it's like my son came home from Bible college, got all this passion, this love, this fresh encounter with Jesus. And I'm like, you know what? I've been handing him stuff for a lot of years, and I'll continue to do that. But I'm receiving from you, son. I'm receiving from the next generation. And he's got so much pure, innocent fire and love for God. And he's just, there's something about it that's so contagious. And it's like a beautiful exchange. And that's how it should be. The generations should learn to glean from each other. It's like the cartoon, the animated movie, How to Train Your Dragon. And it was like the Lord was showing me that. It's like, okay, Keith, in the first How to Train Your Dragon, the old, the father, he's used to killing off the dragons, and then the son figures out how to ride them, fly them. And I felt like the old, resistant of the new. In a sense, it's like, okay, Lord's like, no, you got to embrace this new thing, because there's something fresh here. So as we're carrying things down to the next generation, we've got to be able to receive the next generation. Just like Jacob received Joseph, and maybe it took not right away, not when he was 18, but when, later on, Jacob comes, Israel now comes into Joseph's care, and he's receiving from Joseph's provision and protection and input. And then, of course, Joseph is receiving blessing, and his children are receiving blessing, and so there's this exchange happening, this beautiful exchange happening. So I just wanted to process today and just share some of these nuggets on my own journey with my family line. And there's more to come. I want to share more, but just want us to value our own heritage. I'd encourage you. I'm videoing my parents right now, getting their history and God and marriage and family and things they've learned, and just like my parents did, their grandparents, their parents, and now I've been listening to my grandparents, their different CDs on their life, and I think it's important to let's honor the past so we can learn from it, go to the next level. A man of wisdom brings out of his storehouse new wine and old. We're still supposed to be bringing the new, but we also have, the wisdom is to keep pulling from the old. It's good. And the old is cherished as well. It's like old wine. It tastes better than new wine. It's more tested. It's more, like we need to appreciate both. We need to keep making room for the new while honoring the old. And hope you've been blessed by this podcast or YouTube. If you're on YouTube here, I had to do like 2 videos to flesh this out. But man, blessings on you guys. Have an amazing day. Expand the kingdom. Comment on this and share how this has impacted you. Let us know how, just a little bit about your own life and what God's doing with you. We love to hear you and just journey with you in this journey. Come on, let His kingdom increase through you. All right, peace.